Alright, so my plan for the start of this video is to include a couple of time lapses of myself placing and destroying large amounts of sand and then also sponging out all the water around this ocean monument area. My idea for the entire area is to clear out all the water and then dig out using TNT all of the blocks all the way to bedrock and include a bunch of industrial farms down the bottom like sugarcane, not kelp, not necessarily, cactus, something like that. Okay, so that's just about all the time lapses I have for today, because unfortunately the replay mod didn't quite work out for the rest of the build when I sponged out and removed all the sand from the second half of the monument. We don't actually have that footage because the replay mod didn't quite work, but this is what we're currently working with, and she is a beaut. Shout out to all the ocean monuments out there because they are very, very stunning builds once you remove all the water and of course the Elder Guardians, and yeah, the Guardians themselves as well, because they're pretty annoying. Unfortunately, I haven't done that completely because there is still all of the water on the inside as we peer into the area where I killed the third Elder Guardian in a very, very terrifying experience. But yeah, so there is still water all through the entire build, but Guardians can't spawn on the outside, and that's really all I care about at this stage. We have killed all of the Elder Guardians, so they are no longer a worry. We don't care about mining fatigue anymore because we can't get it. And the Guardians are far enough away on the inside that they can't hurt us. So the next thing that we're going to be working on for this area is actually removing this water on the outside. And there is no chance that I sponge out this area. After how long this took? Yeah, it was a 30 to 40-second worth of time lapses just now, but this took several days of my life, and this is such a massive area, way bigger than this, so there's no way I'm going to be sponging it with my stack and a half of sponges that I have. So at this stage right here, I decided to go mining because I needed diamonds. I didn't really need diamonds, but I wanted diamonds and I needed redstone and stuff like that. So I decided to go mining directly below the monument area so that I'd have to do less work later on. And yeah, this is just clips of me finding and mining diamonds. And here we are back at the monument area for the first time in a couple of days after doing some other things for a bit. And although I said that our next focus would be to clear out all this water surrounding the central area, I have been doing other projects that will actually help us for this one. You see, I did some researching for designs for flying machines that'll help out with the clearing of all that water, because there's a lot of water and I'm not going to do it with sponges, there's no way. So I will be using piston flying machines, and the design that I found that is the best one in my research is by Raiseworks, I believe, and it requires a lot of honey blocks, something I don't have, or at least I didn't have. I do now have access to honey blocks in the honey farm that I've been constructing over the last few days, so let's go have a look there now. So here we are at the honey farm above the roof of the nether, just next to my gold farm over there, and clearly there are a lot of hives. In the tutorial I watched, they separated it into 8s, so there is 1 8 here, 1 8 there, 1 8 there, and 1 8 there, so that's 32 total hives on this top layer. All of them are dedicated to honey bottles and the collection of honey bottles into honey blocks through comparators detecting on this other side, that comparators detecting when the honey is in the hive, and then that triggering this dispenser and that collecting the honey. Down below we have another layer where this side is also 32, as is that. This side is dedicated to honey bottles as well, so all the drops are honey bottles. I just emptied this, which is why there's so few in there. And this side is entirely dedicated to honeycomb through shears. The exact same principle, the exact same mechanics, just with shears instead of honey bottles, and it gets the job done. It is such a nice little farm that's tileable, so you can make it as big as you like. We've gone quite ham with a total of 64 hives, with 16 as honeycomb and the rest as just honey bottles, and we get plenty of drops from that. My server mate and I are making a store in our shopping area that'll sell both honey and honeycomb, so we do need it in quite significant quantities for the store, although we don't expect a whole lot of sales. It's good to have stock. I definitely recommend building this farm in your own world because it's it's pretty enjoyable to build, I'm not going to lie. It's very inexpensive. The most expensive part would be the hoppers, but even they aren't too expensive, and the dispensers. But yeah, they're quite manageable as well. Um, and I'll probably do a tutorial for the design at some stage. And this is what we have so far. But I'm not exactly satisfied with it just yet, because as I fly around, I'm pretty satisfied with how this looks, but this is a pretty not very good. There's a lot of redstone everywhere, which I don't hate, but it's not the best looking thing when you fly around and from the ground, you don't even know what it is, for someone who didn't build the farm, of course. Um, so my plan is to build a giant bee around it, using the Minecraft bee skin, and just build that around it and have a lounge AFK area down here and a better storage system than what we've got there. So I'm going to work through that right now. Alright, so I'm now in my creative test world, and this is the bee that I've gone with. I've quite simply built the design for the bee with three cubes, sorry, representing 1 pixel. So that would be 1 pixel, but it's 3 by 3, which makes it a lot bigger. Because we need it to be a lot bigger because of the size of the farm plus the size of the area that we need. So I replicated the farm up here, not all of it, but I replicated most of it. And then let's break out through here and fix that ideally. This is the entrance so far. I don't love it. I like the honeycomb on the back. I'm not sure. Not so hot on the honey blocks. That may change. That may just become more honeycomb. We'll see how we go. There's a pretty clear concept of storage over here. We've got a bit of a bar, like looking like drinks, with the honey bottles, and that'll in the actual server that'll be a bee head, probably. But I don't have that data pack on my creative world, so it is a player head at this stage. And then there'll be a little staircase. I don't mind that. I like these. These are from Hermitcraft. I think it was Cubfan did that in season 6 with the quartz pillar and the emeralds. And there's a little modern TV area with speakers, and that's the TV, of course. And cookie, because snack time while watching TV. But I'm unsure what to put over this side and this side. I may keep the bee face, but most likely not. I could just have a staircase over this side up onto the actual farm. Actually, that's probably not a bad idea. So I don't mind it so far, but it definitely could do with a bit of improvement, I reckon. Okay, so here we are back at the bee, and I've made a few modifications to my design originally, where over this side I've made this bar area quartz with end rods for lighting, instead of having dark oak and dark oak, because there's no dark oak anywhere else in the actual build, whereas the quartz is also on the lamps and the staircase and the coffee table arrangement over there. I've also added this bookshelf sort of looking thing with glazed terracotta at the back. With that design, I feel like that looks a lot better than the yellow flower, although flowers do relate better to bees, but that's my preferred option. I'm sticking with that. I've also gone with black and yellow carpet on the bottom for the bee pattern, and I've just added a pile of honey over here. I was struggling for quite a while to figure out what to put over here. I thought to have a bee in a glass case, but I've just gone with honey because it's pretty easy and it relates very heavily to the actual farm. And then I've made a staircase going up to the farm with black and yellow handrails, which I think it looks quite nice. There's a H at the front. Not a massive fan, but that's okay. And then you can access all the farms. If you need to adjust anything, or if I want to make these ones shears instead of honey bottles to get more honeycomb, whatever we need to do, we can do that using this staircase. And as you can see, I've used honeycomb around the entire build. I don't mind it. It can get to be a lot of honeycomb, especially over this side, but it's the best texture that I think we have, especially how it locks together quite nicely. And the H on the front is for hive or honey, I suppose, either way. But yeah, that's the front of the bee, and this is going to be the entrance as opposed to over there for obvious reasons. And yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with how it turned out so far. Okay, so from one creative build to another, we are now at the hostile mob drop store. It has received quite an upgrade, I'll tell you. Originally, we had a couple of chests over here, a couple of chests over here, inside the mob head, of course, and an end chest and crafting table, and that was it, just inside the top of this creeper right here. We're kind of cramped for space, and then that's kind of all I had, but it wasn't something that I was proud of at all. But this is something that I like a lot more, and I've took a bit of time to create a redstone thing up here that I'll give a tour of in a second, but first I'm going to drop down. Alright, and now we're at the bottom, and this is what we've built so far. This isn't the best. I've since built it in survival on the actual server, and I've improved it quite a bit, but this is my original concept. As you can see, it's pretty boxy. This guy's quite annoying. He was going to have the price. I was going to have a couple of cages with one of the each of the mobs that I'm selling drops for over there, and have them named, but that's a lot of work, especially given this is a mushroom island, and if I wanted a hostile mob to come in, I'd have to go to an ocean nearby or a different biome nearby and transport it over here. And with creepers especially, that'd be very, very difficult and not something I'm willing to do. But I have incorporated the actual cage itself into the build, just not with the zombie. That's just a play ahead. I want to have actual ones on the actual server, but for now, that's all I have access to. I've used some cobwebs every now and then, but as you can see, it's very boxy. It's a very square build. I tried to fix it over here, but that did not turn out very well at all. So I'll work on all that. I do like the variation in height between the stairs, the slabs, the buttons, bit of carpet every now and then. That's just to hide the redstone torches that should actually be on the ground, but that's okay. I've got a bit of water here so the player doesn't die of fall damage when coming down. And a bit of mossy cobblestone and mossy stone bricks every now and then, as well as this guy over here who has lost his life in this store, unfortunately. Now on top of the creeper, I have destroyed all the blocks at the top to show you the redstone that I've used, and it's quite simple, although it did take me a number of days to figure it out. We've just got sticky pistons that are powered by redstone torches on either side to keep the blocks closed, and then redstone dust all around the outside to connect to this button right here. So when the button is pressed, all the redstone dust is powered, which, because of these target blocks, deactivates the redstone torch, and that deactivates the pistons, and then the blocks open up. Without a target block here, as you can see, the redstone dust goes into the target block. Without that there, for example, if we had something like that, the redstone dust clearly does not go into that block. So if we press the button, that piston wouldn't actually activate. So we need that to be a target block because of the redstone dust going into it. That's a feature that it has. It took me some googling to figure it out. I had to Wikipedia it, and then a bunch of videos were on how to shoot a target block, but that didn't help at all. But that's exactly what it is used for. And we're now here on the actual server where I've completed the entire build, and I've added these yellow and black markers around the corner, just partly so that the player knows that this is where the magic will happen, so they don't press the button and expect to go somewhere else or whatever. But yeah, so you press the button, you fall down. I haven't built all the stone bricks on the side yet, but I may get to that at some stage. What I've done instead of the zombie is I've added some bones with the invisible item frame data pack. I've added a head from one of the other people on the server, as well as a stray head on a spike over here. I've got some zombie piglins over here, but that may change to become strays later on. And as you can see, there isn't a whole lot of variation in the actual floor in regard to mossy and cracked stone bricks. That's simply because I didn't have them when I built this building up, because I didn't have any vines at the time, so I wasn't able to make the mossy ones, and I couldn't be bothered smelting all the stone bricks into cracked, so I'm going to come back soon and finish that off. And as you can see, it's a little less boxy. This side sort of is, because that's where the pressure plate door is. That's off to one side because I accidentally dug the wrong hole, but that's okay, and we're not going to mention that. This is a bit boxy, but I've done a bit of variation there. This side I don't mind, where it's all cracked and chaotic, as is the roof. And this is mostly filled with cobwebs anyway, so it's not something I'm worrying too much about. And over here we just have the area where we're actually selling all the items, nothing behind here. Again with the carpets to hide the redstone torches, which are giving the reddish, very minimal amount of light to give it that dungeony feel that I was going for. I have some iron rods coming from the ceiling alongside a bunch of chains, just to again to emphasize that feel, and then a bunch of stock of all of what I'm selling. And now back to bee-related things, as this is the design that I have come up with for the honey and slime store. And if we press this button right here, it opens up to the inside. And there's nothing at the top here, because my business partner has already designed the teardrop sort of shape with a ripple effect on the outside that looks really, really cool. So we're going to be keeping that, and no, the build will not consist of any mushroom blocks. they're only there because they were just there, and I needed to pick block something other than mycelium, and anything else nearby didn't look too good. So I went with those ones. And if we drop down, there's some redstone around here that I don't understand at all. I couldn't explain it for the life of me. I just watched the video and copied it directly, so I'll put a link to that in the description. And if we jump down here, there is a wooded forest design that I've gone for, with flowers, and there's leaves, and there's grass everywhere to make it look overgrown. I've gone with a couple of fence posts around every now and then to look like branches. It's something I've just learnt by watching videos. I don't love it. It doesn't look all that good, but it's better than without it. And on this side we'll have the slime related drops, so the slime blocks and the slime balls, and over this side we'll have the 4 honey drops. Same situation as over here, except obviously different. I've incorporated grass and green concrete powder as well as grass, so there's more variation in the ground as opposed to just all green grass. And I have this water right here. If they want to land in here, the shoppers can, but it's not necessary. It's like 15 blocks, and everyone has feather falling by this stage and an elytra, so it won't be much of an issue. But yes, they will have to elytra to get out, but when they do, they just got to press the button again, and the door will close up behind them. Alright, so earlier in the video I said that after clearing out all the water of the ocean monument, that we would be working on the piston pushers to remove all the water around that massive area. And since then we've done the honey farm, we've done the bee store, we've done the mob store, we've done so many other things that didn't actually clear out all the water. But as promised, here we are. This is the design by Raiseworks that'll be in the description of the piston pushers that will remove all the water for us. And from this image right here, you should be able to tell why I needed to build a honey farm, because there is quite a few honey blocks in this machine. And this is just one strip. Like, we'll have many strips to clear out that area, but yeah, it's going to be a bit of a grind to get all the slime blocks as well, but the honey blocks, at least they're covered. So essentially the way it works is that these pistons right here will be powered by myself. In the actual video, Raiseworks uses a flying machine at the back here, but I couldn't quite figure out how to make that one work consistently, so I've gone with my own little piston setup right here. And so essentially I will just power this one on the back here, and then they'll all move forward, and I'll do the same with this one right here. And then from there I'll just place some more pistons in here like that, and then I'll power these ones and then those ones, and continuously it'll just push it forward, and those ones at the back push this entire slab forward, which pushes this forward, which pushes that forward, so gradually the water is being cleared out one block at a time. But this is obviously quite a lot of water, and it'll make very, very, very quick work of the massive ocean area that we need to clear out. And that is actually going to be the end of today's episode. We got quite a bit done. We cleared out quite a lot of water from the monument area. In fact, the entire monument is clean itself now. There's no water around it. There is water inside it, but not around it, and I'm going to count that as a victory. That alone took multiple days of my life, although it was able to be condensed to just a 35-second time lapse at the start of the video. And then the honey farm took multiple days, about a weekend in total, by expanding it from the original 8 hives in a video to the end result of all 64 hives, 16 of which with honeycomb, the remaining amount on honey bottles. And then we designed the new mob store, then we built the new mob store, although it's not completely done because we have a few modifications and variation to complete. We also designed the honey store completely. I've just got to build that now. That's perfectly fine as it is. So that's the end of the episode, my first ever on the channel. So thank you so much for watching and being a part of that. Please subscribe, and I will catch you in the next episode.